This is State Representative Rita Cabanilla, who represents District 42 in Ewa, and here's why she supports
And as a resident
rail.
of Ewa Beach, I want everybody to ride the rail around the rail line so I can drive my car. But it will take cars off the freeway, and there is more room for me.
So what you just heard was, I want you to ride the rail so there's more room for me on the road. I expect all of you in Ewa Beach to ride the rail.
Out of 2,338 people we surveyed, 65 said yes, they would have ridden it, and 2,237 said no, they wouldn't have ridden it.
Would you like it that on the ballot or special election, we can revisit this and you can vote again on rail? Because we have changes, new routes, new price tag. It's not going where it said it was going to go. It's going to look different over here. When all the information has now come to light, it's been after the fact. So do you want to see another vote?
Yes.
And that's fair, right?
Yes.
That's the fairest thing to do. So moving, again, going back to the beginning question, are we moving too fast?
Like, why are you guys trying to make it like so fast right now? Why can't you guys wait?
Is government not listening to us? Right? We are the government. So if you had your way, when you go home today and you talk at the dinner table, would you like to say, you know what, I talked to 3 people today who we engaged with on this rail endeavor. I'm for a new vote. Who else is for the new vote?
I am.
You want to vote again?
Yeah. Yes.
How about you, Doctor? You want a new vote? Rep Pine, want to vote again?
No.
I want to stab at that real quick. We got UH West Oahu. At the time of 2005, that the legislature says we got to do something about traffic, UH West Oahu wasn't on the scene. University of Hawaii West Oahu out in Kapolei, East Kapolei, they said for 30 years, we'll take 10% of the traffic going east into town off the road going west. So that is even of a greater traffic reliever than rail at University of West Oahu. Then why are we advancing rail when if we merely get the uninsured motorist off the road, tomorrow's technology is going to provide electric vehicles that use less space. We can restripe. Instead of getting 4 lanes on the H1, we may get 8. So all this stuff out there about your generation being able to plug in a battery, solar powered, get in your car, emits 0 waste emissions, clean and green. That's the tomorrow of tomorrow. That's your generation. By the time you get your driver's license, you may be in a hydrogen vehicle. Kansas City's another municipality. They had a fair shake. They didn't write a bill with fine print and said, oh, by the way, you can't have highway technology. For when in Kansas City got to take their tax dollars, do we want rail? Do we want highway technology, the bus? They went, we want the bus. They voted against the rail. We didn't have that option on Oahu. That's one of the things that many people forget, is that this thing was geared, catered to, designed to be nothing else but steel on steel. Because when the vote was taken by the people, it didn't say on the question, do you want the bus? Do you want a monorail? Do you want maglev? It said, do you want steel on steel? So the option was, gee, I want traffic relief. Heck, I'm for traffic relief, right? But it wasn't the full gamut like every other county in the state of Hawaii got. They could pick and choose the best thing that fit their environment. But they didn't do that in that House Bill 1309 that they passed. They said, on Oahu, you can't have highway technology.
Talking about fairness question is very important. It has 2 components. One is geography. These people don't get it. Why do they pay? There is also the other part. When you talk about roads, we pay a gasoline tax and we get our roads done. To get the rail system, you pay tax on your groceries. You buy chewing gum, you pay rail. You buy medicine, you pay rail. You buy bananas, you pay rail. That is not very fair. And actually, it is taxing the poor more than the rich to collect money from them to build the rail.
I think this is a great question for the following reason. The rail's being built for you, and your children, because by the time this is up and running, we'll be in our rocking chairs.
Okay. At best.
All of you are working hard getting good grades for the American dream. If you want to own a Hummer, Jag, Mercedes, Beamer, whatever it is, set that aside. Government's telling you, you don't need a car. The voters, your parents, said, bring it on. Majority said, bring it on, bring rail. As a city council person, do you have a ceiling, a threshold, a tipping point? You know what that means? Let's assume your parents say, hey, it's school season. I'm going to buy you a new pair of jeans. And you go and get designer jeans, but they're too expensive. So your parents say, you know what? I got to go to Walmart, taking you to Sears, because designer jeans are unaffordable. As your council person, I'm being told to vote for a designer jean, something that the taxpayers now said we can't afford. So when we voted and said we want rail to go from UH West Oahu to UH Manoa, it was going to be taxed until the year 2022 at 0.5%. It was going to go by Salt Lake. The price has changed. The route has changed. There could be another Katrina. And when Katrina happened out on the Gulf Coast, what happened? Everything skyrocketed in construction cost. So everything that we thought, the North-South Road cost more money. Fort Weaver widening cost more money. The rail's going to cost more money. So you and I, together in concert, have to say, this is my tipping point. I can't afford designer jeans. I got to go to Walmart. We have to make that decision together.
It would look pretty good because it's consistent with the old times since it's right on the ground. Unfortunately, the previous and the current administration of the city, they are not looking into it. And remember, Mr. Berg is in the city council. He kind of sort of approves or disapproves what the mayor does, but it's the mayor and his administration that call the shots. So right now, the shots call for elevated rail.
That's the ORNL right away, Oahu Rail and Land Company. Yeah? And it connects to the Pearl Harbor Historic Trail, goes all the way to the Aloha Stadium. So people have looked at that. Could beautify Waipahu, the bottom end, through Middle Lock, West Lock. And that route, by the way, there's something called the Oahu Metropolitan Planning Organization, AMPO. And when Mayor Harris was in office in the year 2000, they were looking at tunnel, Pearl Harbor, bridge, because that's highway technology. You can't have a tunnel, you can't have a bridge, and at grade was taken off the table. So when they had an alternative analysis process and says, what's the biggest bang for your buck? What's going to be best for you, the future generation? They didn't look at everything. They took them out of the puzzle from the onset. The University of Hawaii had a simulation project that says, I'm going to find relief for all of us on the corridor of Fort Weaver and Ewa Beach. And they came up with results that wasn't allowed to be discussed in this process that brought a steel-on-steel heavy rail. So we all have, our parents, all of us who voted for steel-on-steel heavy rail, never had an opportunity to look at the other alternative mechanisms and modes of technology.
How can you cut from Ewa Beach Kapolei, if you take an average there, it's 75 minutes the old way, 16 minutes, 16 minutes, can you believe it? With a little tunnel from Iroquois Point across to the airport, and then the tunnel continues under the airport because you cannot build anything at the airport, and goes to a big road we have already, which is called Lagoon Drive. So from here, you skip across the channel, and then with cut and cover tunnel under the airport to Lagoon Drive. And then you take Nimitz, and you are right there in 16 minutes for far less money than the rail.
The voter wasn't given an opportunity to even choose that option.
So the capacity of the train is 6,000 per hour per direction, because the other side works independently, right? This goes to Honolulu, this comes out of Honolulu. So the maximum, if you put them like sardines, is 6,000 per hour per direction.
Drive your Hummers, work hard, you have a right to your car. You have a right to your car.